Hey there! Welcome back to our channel. This is your Dr. Marie Huberman, the place where real science meets real life for seniors who refuse to simply accept aging without a fight. 4 vegetables science says fight cancer at the cellular level. Part 1. The most overlooked pharmacy in your life. What if the most powerful disease-fighting tools available to you aren't locked away in a pharmacy, a clinic, or a supplement bottle, but sitting quietly in the produce section of your regular grocery store, priced at a couple of dollars a pound? I'm Dr. Marie Huberman, and after more than 2 decades in medicine, this is one of the truths I find myself repeating to patients again and again. I have watched people spend extraordinary amounts of money chasing health through pills, powders, and treatments, while some of the most well-documented, peer-reviewed, scientifically validated tools for protecting the body sit overlooked in the vegetable aisle, in plain sight, every single week. Today, I want to walk you through 4 vegetables that the research consistently points to as among the most powerful natural allies your body has in defending itself against chronic disease, including the kind of cellular damage associated with cancer risk. Not opinion, not wellness trend talk. Published, peer-reviewed science. Before we get into specifics, let's understand the underlying mechanism, because it changes how you think about food entirely. Most chronic diseases don't appear overnight. It builds gradually, over years, through 2 interconnected processes: oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. Picture oxidative stress as a slow, rusting process happening inside your cells. Every day, unstable molecules called free radicals, generated by pollution, processed food, stress, and even normal metabolism, chip away at your cellular structures. When free radical activity outpaces your body's natural defenses, DNA damage accumulates. Cell signaling gets disrupted. Over time, in the wrong cells, this is part of how diseases including cancer can take hold. So the real question becomes, what gives your body's defense systems more ammunition? What helps neutralize free radicals, calm inflammation, and support the cellular repair mechanisms your body already has? The answer, again and again in the research, comes back to what's on your plate, and 4 vegetables in particular rise to the very top of that list. Let's start at number 4, and I promise, even if you think you already know this one, you don't know the full story yet. Part 2. Broccoli, the quiet assassin of damaged cells broccoli. I can already hear some of you sighing. Yes, doctor, we know broccoli is healthy. But stay with me, because what most people don't understand is why broccoli earns its reputation, and the mechanism is genuinely remarkable. Broccoli belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, alongside cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage. Inside its cells sits a compound that, on its own, does very little, until you chew it, chop it, or lightly steam it. That action triggers an enzyme called myrosinase, which converts a precursor compound into something far more biologically active, sulforaphane. Sulforaphane has become one of the most studied plant compounds in cancer research over the past 2 decades, and the findings are striking. Research using a mouse model found that sulforaphane, found in broccoli, targeted and killed cancer stem cells, slowing tumor growth and contributing to delayed onset of resistance to chemotherapy treatment. In laboratory studies, sulforaphane treatment reduced breast cancer cells by 75% and breast cancer stem cells, the cells thought to give rise to new tumors and cause cancer relapse, by 45% or more. That second finding matters enormously because cancer stem cells are notoriously resistant to conventional chemotherapy. They're often the reason cancers return after treatment appears successful. A compound that can specifically target these cells represents a genuinely different angle of attack than most conventional approaches offer. But sulforaphane's benefits don't stop there. Research originating from Johns Hopkins University, where sulforaphane was first isolated and characterized, has repeatedly shown that this compound activates what are called phase 2 detoxification enzymes in the liver. These enzymes are your body's cleanup crew, helping neutralize carcinogens and other harmful compounds before they have the chance to damage your DNA. Here's the practical piece that almost nobody talks about. How you prepare broccoli matters enormously. Myrosinase, the enzyme that converts broccoli's precursor compound into active sulforaphane, is heat-sensitive. Boil broccoli into mush, and you destroy much of this enzyme before it can do its job. Instead, lightly steam your broccoli for just a few minutes, or eat it raw in salads and slaws. And here's a trick that genuinely surprises most of my patients. Sprinkle a small amount of mustard seed powder onto cooked broccoli. Mustard seeds contain their own myrosinase enzyme, and adding them back after cooking can meaningfully boost the amount of active sulforaphane your body actually absorbs. It's a small adjustment with an outsized impact. Broccoli sprouts deserve a special mention here too. They often contain substantially higher concentrations of sulforaphane precursors than mature broccoli, making them an excellent, easy addition to sandwiches, salads, and smoothies for anyone wanting to maximize this particular benefit. The takeaway on broccoli is this: it's not just healthy in a vague, generic sense. It contains a specific, well-characterized compound with documented mechanisms for targeting damaged and abnormal cells, supporting your liver's natural detoxification pathways, and contributing meaningfully to your body's long-term defense system. And it costs about as little as any vegetable in the store. Part 3. Garlic, nature's self-destruct signal for abnormal cells. Our next vegetable might raise an eyebrow because many people don't even think of it as a vegetable at all. But botanically and nutritionally, garlic absolutely earns its place, and its research story is one of the most compelling in all of nutritional science. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which doesn't exist in the intact clove. It's formed only when you crush, chop, or otherwise damage raw garlic, triggering an enzyme called alliinase to convert a precursor compound, alliin, into allicin. This is a crucial detail, and I'll explain why the timing matters in just a moment. The World Health Organization has approved a daily intake of 2 to 5 grams of fresh garlic, roughly 1 clove, for adults, specifically for its disease-protective properties. That's a remarkably small amount for a remarkably well-documented benefit. A large body of population research has examined garlic's relationship to cancer risk, particularly for cancers of the digestive system. A meta-analysis found that high garlic consumption, compared with low consumption, was associated with a significantly reduced risk of colorectal cancer. Other population studies have found associations between regular garlic intake and reduced risk of several other cancer types affecting the digestive tract. The mechanism behind this involves a process called apoptosis, your body's natural programmed self-destruct sequence for damaged or abnormal cells. It's how your body normally eliminates cells that have gone wrong before they can cause harm. One of the defining features of cancer cells is that they find ways to bypass this self-destruct mechanism. They essentially refuse to die. Research suggests that allicin and its related sulfur compounds, including ajoine and diallyl sulfide, can help re-trigger this apoptotic process in abnormal cells, essentially restoring the off switch that cancer cells have learned to disable. Now, about that timing I mentioned earlier, this is genuinely one of the most important practical details in this entire video. When you crush or chop garlic, you need to let it sit at room temperature for about 10 minutes before cooking it. Here's why. The enzyme that converts alliin into allicin needs time to complete that conversion. If you throw freshly crushed garlic directly into a hot pan, the heat destroys the enzyme before it finishes its job, and you lose a significant portion of the beneficial compounds you were counting on. 10 minutes. That's the entire adjustment. Crush it, let it rest, then cook. Garlic's benefits extend well beyond cellular protection. It has documented effects on lowering LDL cholesterol, supporting healthy blood pressure, and providing genuine antimicrobial activity against a range of pathogens. Few foods in the plant kingdom offer this breadth of benefit from such a small, inexpensive, universally available ingredient. Practical tip: aim to incorporate fresh, crushed garlic into your meals most days of the week. Add it toward the end of cooking when possible, after its 10-minute rest, to preserve the maximum amount of its beneficial compounds. Part 4. Spinach, the silent guardian of your cellular DNA. Our next vegetable works quietly, almost invisibly, deep within your cells. which is exactly why I think of it as the silent guardian on this list. It's spinach. Spinach's nutritional profile reads almost like a checklist of what your body needs for long-term protection. It's rich in folate, essential for proper DNA synthesis and repair, a process that becomes increasingly important as we age and cellular replication errors become more likely. It's loaded with carotenoids, particularly lutein, zeaxanthin, and beta-carotene, powerful antioxidants that help neutralize the free radicals we discussed earlier. But what genuinely sets spinach apart in serious nutritional research is a less commonly discussed group of compounds: glycoglycerolipids, specifically ones known by the abbreviations MGDG and SQDG. Research out of Japan examining these compounds found that they appear to inhibit an enzyme that cancer cells rely on heavily for DNA replication, meaning these compounds may interfere with the very process abnormal cells use to multiply and spread. This is a genuinely distinct mechanism from the antioxidant story most people associate with leafy greens, and it's part of why spinach deserves more credit than it typically receives. Spinach's benefits extend strongly into cardiovascular health as well. Its high nitrate content, the natural plant-based kind distinct from synthetic nitrates used in processed meats, supports healthy blood vessel function and circulation, contributing to better blood pressure regulation. Multiple studies examining leafy green vegetable intake have found associations between regular consumption and meaningfully lower cardiovascular risk. Spinach also contains a flavonoid compound called K-impherol, which has been studied for its potential protective associations with certain hormone-related cancers in women, alongside its broader anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties throughout the body. Here's a preparation detail worth knowing. Cooking spinach actually increases the bioavailability of certain nutrients, particularly beta-carotene and iron, because heat breaks down plant cell walls and makes these compounds easier for your body to absorb. Eating spinach raw, on the other hand, better preserves its folate content, which is more heat-sensitive. The ideal approach is variety. Enjoy spinach both raw, in salads and smoothies, and cooked, sautéed lightly in olive oil, or added to soups, eggs, and pasta dishes. Spinach is inexpensive, endlessly versatile, and arguably one of the most underrated vegetables for long-term cellular protection, available anywhere in the grocery store. Part 5. Beets, the underestimated root with extraordinary pigment power. And now we arrive at number 1, the vegetable that, based on a genuinely compelling and growing body of research, deserves more attention than almost any other plant food in your grocery store. And I suspect this one will surprise you. Beets. Those deep, earthy, ruby red root vegetables that people tend to either love or actively avoid. If beets haven't been part of your regular diet, I think what follows might change your mind. Beets get their unmistakable color from a class of pigments called betalains, specifically beta-cyanins and betaxanthins. These aren't just visually striking, they're among the most potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory plant compounds currently being studied. Laboratory research examining beta-cyanins has found that these pigments can inhibit the growth of various human cancer cell lines, including those derived from colon, stomach, lung, and breast tissue. Other laboratory studies examining beet extracts have found significant suppression of cancer cell growth in prostate and breast cell lines. I want to be transparent here, as I always try to be. Laboratory cell studies are meaningfully different from outcomes in a living human body, and that distinction matters. But combined with population-level dietary research and a strong mechanistic understanding of how these compounds behave, the overall picture for beets is genuinely compelling. Beyond their pigments, beets are exceptionally rich in natural nitrates, again, the beneficial, plant-derived kind. Once consumed, these nitrates convert in your body to nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and dilates blood vessels, improving circulation and supporting healthy blood pressure. A landmark study from Queen Mary University of London found that drinking beet juice daily produced a measurable, clinically meaningful reduction in blood pressure among study participants, a reduction in the same range as some prescription blood pressure interventions. Improved circulation also means more efficient delivery of oxygen and immune cells throughout the body, including to tissues that depend on a healthy, responsive immune system. Beets are also one of the richest dietary sources of betaine, a compound involved in a biological process called methylation, essentially how your body switches genes on and off. Healthy methylation patterns matter significantly in disease prevention because abnormal methylation is one of the recognized hallmarks of how certain protective genes get silenced in cancer development. Betaine helps support healthy methylation patterns, keeping protective genetic mechanisms active and functioning as intended. On top of all this, beets deliver meaningful amounts of fiber, folate, manganese, and vitamin C, a well-rounded nutritional package supporting immune function, digestive health, and your body's natural detoxification processes. If beets haven't appealed to you because of their earthy flavor, I'd encourage you to try roasting them with olive oil and sea salt. The roasting process brings out a natural sweetness that surprises most people who've only had beets pickled or canned. They're equally delicious grated raw into salads, blended into smoothies, or juiced on their own or alongside apple and ginger for balance. Part 6. Bringing it all together, your action plan. Let's bring everything together into something genuinely actionable, because information without application doesn't change anything. Broccoli, home to sulforaphane, a compound shown in research to target abnormal cancer stem cells and activate your liver's natural detoxification enzymes. Lightly steam it or eat it raw. Add a pinch of mustard seed powder after cooking to maximize absorption. Garlic, rich in allicin and related sulfur compounds shown to support apoptosis in abnormal cells, protect cardiovascular health, and strengthen immune defenses. Crush it, let it rest for 10 minutes, then cook. Spinach, a nutritional powerhouse containing compounds that may interfere with abnormal cell replication, alongside cardiovascular protective nitrates and an impressive array of antioxidants and folate. Eat it both raw and cooked for the broadest nutrient benefit. Beets, home to extraordinary beta-lane pigments studied for their effects on cancer cell lines, blood pressure-supporting nitrates, and betaine compounds that support the genetic mechanisms your body uses to keep protective genes active. Roast, juice, or grate them raw into salads. Here is my honest, professional perspective on all of this. These 4 vegetables are not a substitute for medical care. If you are managing a diagnosed condition, please continue working closely with your physician and care team. Nothing here replaces that relationship. What the evidence does tell us, clearly and consistently, is that diet represents one of the most powerful modifiable factors we have in long-term disease prevention. The American Cancer Society's most recent estimates indicate that approximately 19% of all cancers in the United States are caused by excess body weight, alcohol consumption, poor nutrition, and physical inactivity. And notably, every one of these factors is something you have real influence over, starting with what's on your plate. What you choose to eat isn't a minor, passive decision. It's information, direct biochemical information your cells, your DNA, and your immune system receive and respond to every single day. The research consistently places broccoli, garlic, spinach, and beets among the most well-supported, accessible tools available for that purpose. So here's my challenge for you this week. Not next month, not eventually. Starting with your very next grocery trip. Add one of these 4 vegetables into your regular rotation. Notice how you feel. Build the habit from there, 1 vegetable, 1 meal, 1 week at a time. Your body has a remarkable built-in capacity to protect and repair itself when you consistently give it the right raw materials to do so. If this video gave you something genuinely useful today, take a moment to like it, and for more such videos, subscribe our channel below. This is your Senior Health and Well-Being channel, reminding you that it is never too late to support your body, honor your health, and live fully at every age. Here's to your best years, not behind you, but unfolding right now.